Welcome to another VeVe Digital Collectibles comic breakdown. I'm Corey with VeVe, and today's comic that we'll be looking at from Marvel, Steve Rogers shed the mantle of Captain America and assumed a new name, Nomad. Captain America 180 is scheduled for release on Monday, July 3rd at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, meaning 10K editions across the 5 variants. This comic will have a retail price of 6.99 gems. This will be a blind box waitlist drop. For more information about how the waitlist drops work on VeVe, please check the video description for a full breakdown article. Published on December 1st of 1974 with art by Sal Buscema and a story by Steve Englehart, this comic sees Steve Rogers assuming the name of Nomad for the very first time. And this change in name and costume came after Steve Rogers was pretty much unaffiliated for a short period. He had stripped himself of the title of Captain America. Let's ground ourselves in this timeline really quickly. A few comics prior to this one, in Captain America 176, Steve Rogers would reach his breaking point. This led to a series of comics where Steve Rogers is just wandering around in his civilian clothes, helping out where he can, and the government's trying to replace him. This brief stint of Steve Rogers being aimless would end with the introduction of a seemingly new villain, the Golden Archer. In a classic unmasking event, the Golden Archer would turn out to be none other than one of the original Avengers that fought right alongside Captain America, Hawkeye. Hawkeye would point out that just because Steve was uncomfortable with being Captain America doesn't mean he couldn't still be a hero. Perhaps a new name and costume would be the solution. That run as Steve Rogers as Nomad was very short-lived, but it was an important defining moment for the character of Steve Rogers as Captain America. No longer would he blindly follow every order that was thrown his way. This was a character trait that provided essential depth and allowed for better stories to be told. Cap's unwillingness to blindly adhere to orders led to some of the most pivotal moments in Marvel Comics history and beyond. Now that we've tackled the history and uniqueness of the Nomad character, let's dig into all of the variant covers releasing and the editions. First, the common classic cover is meaning 6,000 editions. This replica of the original cover gives us the transitioning of Captain America into Nomad. And even the flavor text exclaims, "The end of Captain America." Well, this would be an impermanent end for Cap. It was one of the key moments that defined the character for decades to come. Next, the uncommon vintage variant is meaning 2,250 editions. Nomad gets the color selection on this one, which highlights the new look and feel of Steve Rogers' costuming. Look at that cape fluttering in all of its glory. Our first VeVe exclusive is the rare hero variant, and it's minting 1,000 editions. David Yardin was the exclusive artist for this one, and he does a strong homage to the original artwork on this cover. Just like in that original, we see the transition of Steve Rogers. The chucking of the shield is more pronounced in this one, which for me makes it a lot more fun to look at. Next, the ultra rare vibranium variant is minting 500 editions. Edgar Delgado adds his talent as a colorist to Yardin's work on this VeVe exclusive. Not only do the versions of Steve Rogers get an update in the main area, the character placards at the top get a refresh as well. And the rare hero variant, due to the black and white, I hadn't noticed that Yardin had revamped Falcon, Redwing, and Cap. Keeping some of the original elements while updating the artwork itself really gives this variant a polished look and feel. Finally, the secret rare True Believer variant is minting 250 editions. This interior panel is taken from this full-page spread. This reveal was moments after Steve Rogers had finished creating his own suit, and while the costuming was short-lived, it was a classy costume for Steve Rogers. And that's a wrap for this breakdown video. Steve Rogers as Captain America is one of the most enduring characters in Marvel Comics history, so it's really neat to get one of the comics that helped define that character and still continues to define that character to this very day. With that said, best of luck if you decide to go for this one. Until the next breakdown video, keep learning, sharing, and collecting what you love. This is Corey with VeVe, signing off.